Den 13 november kommer Eric Pearl till Sverige. Eric har fått stor uppmärksamhet för Reconnective healing, både av läkare och av medicinska forskare. Under 12 års tid drev Eric en framgångsrik kiropraktorklinik. När hans klienter började rapportera om mirakulösa tillfrisknanden av olika symptom och sjukdomar förstod Eric att någonting mer är möjligt. Någonting mycket större. Idag har han utbildat över 75 000 människor i Reconnective healing. Han har författat ett flertal böcker, bland annat bästsäljaren Väck, din inre healer. Och nu i november så får vi också tillgång till boken Salomon talar på svenska. Jag ringer upp Eric för att ta reda på mer om vad Reconnective healing är och vad det är Eric har att erbjuda när han kommer till Sverige.
What reconnective healing is, or the concept of the reconnection, is that we are reconnecting to our original fuller self. You know, if you speak to people who've had a life after death experience, the real one where they return to that light that we all come from, that we all return to, they experience a fuller sense of life, of love, of awareness, of consciousness. We are learning how to reconnect to that fuller self and then experience that fuller self here on earth in our physical form. And in doing so, we tend to access our own healings fairly instantaneously, and they tend to be lifelong healings. And what we teach you how to do is also, at that level of reconnection, bring about for other people, facilitate for other people their healings. And that's what the seminars are about, teaching you how to bring about healings for others and how to access your own healings.
And that's the kind of seminar you have in Malmö, right? The 15th to the 17th of November?
That's right. November 15th to 17th in Malmö. What we'll do is, well, on that Friday night, November 15th, I'll give a 3-hour presentation. We'll talk about the history of this work, how it came about, how it was discovered, how it evolved, the science behind it. We'll give everyone an opportunity for you to feel this in your hands, because it's very easy to feel and find. And we'll bring up some volunteers and give live demonstrations of the healing so you can witness the reality of this, maybe even on someone you know, maybe even on you. But on Saturday and Sunday, it's very different. It's a real working seminar. And what we do there is I'll demonstrate a level of the work from the stage very cleanly, very plainly, easy to see. And then we'll all go to massage tables. So let's say you attend the seminar. You might stand at the head of a massage table. Someone will lie down flat on your massage table. And then the teaching team and I will walk around to each of the tables. And by the way, the seminar is simultaneously translated into Swedish. And we've got a lot of native language teaching assistants there who speak Swedish, Norwegian, and Danish as well. So you'll have people to speak to in your own language with it. And we'll take your hands. We will show you how to access this, how to find it, how to feel it, how to play with it. And you will witness right in front of your very eyes. The person on your table will go into involuntary movements, maybe of their fingers or their feet. Or then we'll show you how to accelerate this, how to enhance it, make it even stronger. You'll see their arms jerk and move, or their legs move. And then we'll go back to the tables, back to the chairs, talk about what we just learned, discuss a little more philosophy and science, do some question and answer. I'll demonstrate a new level of the work. We'll go back to the massage table again, and as you access this, you'll see people's eyes dart back and forth, their tiny muscles on their face ripple and pull at their eyebrows or their lips, and you'll start to recognize and coordinate what you're feeling with what you're witnessing, what you're seeing happen to the person on your table. And we'll continue this way throughout Saturday and Sunday. And by Sunday, is it the 15th, I think? By Sunday, November 15th, at the end of the seminar, if you're there, I can pretty much make you 2 promises, which are 1, you will be able to do anything and everything in the way of healing that I can do. And 2, you will be able to do anything and everything in the way of healing that any human being anywhere on this planet can do, no matter how many techniques they've mastered, no matter whether they were born into a healing family. It doesn't matter the story any longer. This teaches you how to transcend the need for complicated techniques and fear-based rituals, bring about healings that are much more comprehensive, fairly instantaneous, and tend to last for a person's lifetime.
But that sounds very exciting. But just so I get this right, do people feel more at home with their own power afterwards? Is that like the meaning of it?
It's about reclaiming our own power. Our energy healing techniques have been giving our power away. Every choice we make, every decision we take, every action we take comes either from fear, lack, limitation, the illusion of separation, the illusion of darkness, the need to control, or it comes from love, prosperity, abundance, light, unity, oneness, freedom. We cannot give a gift we're unwilling to accept and receive. We cannot stand in fear doing healing techniques that tell us to protect ourselves in a white flame and a purple flame and a gold flame, to shake off negative energy, spray ourselves down with alcohol and pull up imaginary zippers, and facilitate healings that reside in love. We cannot stand in lack and limitation, adding crystals and healing toys to ourselves and pyramid hats, and facilitate healings that reside in abundance, our stepping into our own abundance, recognizing that we are more than abundantly enough. We cannot stand in the need for control, doing technique A, B, and C, step 1, 2, and 3, moving things clockwise, then counterclockwise, then north and south and east and west, and facilitate healings that reside in the freedom of us becoming the observer and the observed, the witness and the witnessed, the seer and the seen, and to learn to observe without judgment. In other words, it's time for us to move beyond the need to control and direct and determine the healings, to step out of result-oriented healing and to step into the process of healing, and to recognize that if we're lucky, the person will receive the healing that they are intending to receive. But if we're truly all fortunate, we will witness a healing, one that person hasn't even dreamed of, one that God, love, and the intelligence of the universe has designed uniquely for that person.
Great. But I really do want to know about Solomon as well, because you will be talking about Solomon Speaks
in Stockholm.
In Stockholm on the 13th of November.
That's right. Well, what happened was, as I was doing these healings in the very beginning, one of my patients lost consciousness. His eyes rolled to the top of his head, his breathing changed, his mouth opened, his tongue and lips moved, and he said, "We are here to tell you to continue doing what you were doing. What you were doing is bringing light and information onto the planet." And I thought, well, maybe this person's a little crazy, but it sounded very fascinating. It became more fascinating 2 days later when 3 more patients lost consciousness and spoke those same 2 phrases. "We are here to tell you to continue doing what you were doing. What you were doing is bringing light and information onto the planet." Then 2 of those patients added, "What you were doing is reconnecting strands." One of them added, "What you were doing is reconnecting strings." And Fred Ponsloff, the first person, came back in later that week and said, "What you were doing is reconnecting strings." A few days later, it happened to 5 other patients. Overall, over the next 3 months, over 50, that's 50 different patients lost consciousness and spoke 6 word for word exact phrases. I just shared the first 4 with you. Then after 3 months, it stopped coming through everyone, but it continued coming through Fred. So I realized it had to come through over 50 different people who never had a voice come through them before for me to recognize that something real was happening. So I continued recording the sessions through Fred, and Fred and I held on to those papers starting from around 1994 until just this year when we released it into a book. The book is called in English, Solomon Speaks on Reconnecting Your Life. And it's a way to access deeper levels of who we are ourselves. So in other words, the reconnection is about how to access deeper levels of facilitating healings for others, and Solomon Speaks is how to access deeper levels of who we are as individuals, because the deeper we access the truth of who we are, the greater the healings we're able to bring about for others. If you'd like, I can share with you a small segment of the book.
Yeah, please do.
Okay. Now, remember that these words were spoken to me in that day because I was the first person bringing this consciousness through. But now it's our responsibility to bring this through. So you need to hear these words being spoken to you because they are speaking to each and every one of us. Here we go. There's a lot that needs to be said in various ways. We understand ourselves in a limited fashion. And we need to carry this understanding as a life process. It is the unveiling of a multifaceted force within our lives. We need to peel away the exterior so that internal being shines through to those we are working with. The eternal soul that resides within our framework is being covered up in many ways by our fears and apprehensions. And that is what we need to do in our work. We need to unveil our soul. It is not a simple process, and this stripping away of ego is an eternal process. This selflessness that must shine through the being so it can reach in without interference from other sects of energy or frameworks of our minds. Once you allow your soul, that egoless purity, to come through, that is almost a common denominator in that it has the ability to automatically fuse with the frequency of the person you're bringing the healing to. So your job in this process is to strip away the defense, strip away the mind, strip away the control mechanisms and the techniques that we have in this plane. Let them go and let them be a part of an exterior that has nothing to do with you, and present that soul in the room, for it will automatically do the work. That energy is the common, universal language of the cosmos. It is understood immediately, and it is felt intrinsically.
Because can you see this happen when we all let the soul take that place, or when we access, I can't find the words, when we access ourselves so complete.
Let me help. Let's look at it this way. One of the many things that Solomon teaches is compassion. To recognize that we are all one. To recognize that when one child cries in one part of the planet, 100 children weep in another. When one child laughs, 1,000 children laugh. For us to stop looking at what makes us separate and unique. Stop wearing the t-shirts that say, kiss me, I'm Irish, kiss me, I'm Italian, kiss me, I'm this. Stop trying to be separate and look at everyone and say, what makes you and me the same? What makes us all the same? Just like the sun sends its many rays down onto the planet, and each ray appears to be an individual ray of the sun, and it is, but each ray contains a hologram of the entire sun. So each ray of the sun is an expression, a full expression of the sun here on earth. Whether you like to use the word God or the word love or the concept of the intelligence of the universe, pick the word you're happiest with. We are each a representation of God, love, and the universe here. We each contain a hologram of God, of love, of the universe here on earth. We are each one and the same. And when we recognize that we're one and the same, we realize that when we hurt another person, we bring pain to the world. When we make another person smile, we bring joy and love to the world. Our purpose is to recognize that we are one, to bring joy, love to the world, and this is the grander part of our healing. Yes, in reconnective healing, we regain the use of arms and legs. Children with cerebral palsy or epilepsy can walk and run and play and speak normally again. Cancer is vanished. That's wonderful, and we think that's the big deal, but it's only one tiny, tiny part of a bigger picture of the fact that we are standing on the precipice of the next level of human evolution. Many studies around the world shows that reconnective healing changes our very DNA, makes the light that we emit a higher, more coherent, more harmonic level. And that's why the scientists feel that the reconnections, the healings through the reconnection, are so instant when they happen and tend to be lifelong. And when we allow ourselves to vibrate as the light of who we are, then we become a reminder for every person with whom we interact of their natural vibration as light. And we serve as changing the entire light on the planet itself.
Thank you for that.
If there's any one thing I'd love to leave us with, it's the understanding that there is no one special healer somewhere on this planet that we have to pack our bags and fly to visit, whether they're living in a cave in a mountaintop in Tibet or a church deep in Brazil. We have to recognize that today it's our responsibility to become that special healer. It is our possibility. It is very simple and very easy. And when we're looking for that special healer in our lives, we need to look no further than the mirror in our homes.
Well, I'm looking forward to hopefully meet with you somewhere in Sweden in a couple of weeks as well, and find out more about who you are and the work that you do.
Good. And when you find out more about who I am, please be sure to let me know, because I have no idea anymore.
Right. Thank you so much, Eric.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure.